Welcome again to Lecture 0.2, where we discuss basic Linux commands. So let's get right to it. Let's go ahead and go into the shell. I've already logged in. And let's talk a little bit about some of the shell commands that you might use while you're in this class. Now, probably the simplest shell command is going to be ls. ls lists the files within a particular directory. Now realize things are organized here as directories and files. Right now, when I type ls, I see one directory in here, a src directory. This is where I keep my source code files. I can get what is called a long list, which gives me more details by doing -l, lowercase l, at which point it gives me a bit more information here. It shows me, again, the directory name, but it also shows me my user ID and group. It also shows me the permissions that this particular directory has. We're not going to go into much detail about those particular options at the moment. That will be actually come later in this class. So, once we've taken a look at the file, found a way to look at the files, let's go ahead and create things within the file system. Let's start with the make directory command. So I'm going to go ahead and make a directory. We'll call it homework. And if I do ls again, now you can see along with the source directory, there's a homework directory. Now directories can be nested, so there can be several layers of directories. If I want to get rid of that directory, I can actually do rmdir and specify the directory that should be deleted. And now if I list, you can see that it's gone. Let's go back. We're going to make our homework directory again. So now that you've seen how to make and delete directories, let's go ahead and take a look at how to change directory. This is the cd command. cd allows you to switch into a particular directory. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and cd into homework. You'll notice that the prompt actually changes as I change directories. This is a feature of the shell that I'm using at the moment. It allows the prompt to be modified. You can do a Google search and learn how to modify the prompt for your interests. I like the way this prompt works. In any case, I have changed into the homework directory. This actually changes what is called my current working directory. There's a command, if I type pwd, sorry, cwd is not what I wanted. If I type pwd, it actually shows me what my present working directory is. In this case, it is home, my UVID, and homework. So now that I've shown you how to change into directories, here's a question. How do you change back to the directory I was in, or the parent directory? Well, I'm going to add a -a to my ls command, and it's going to reveal more than just simply the directories that you were seeing. In this case, homework actually has two hidden directories. Anything that starts with a dot on Unix is called a hidden directory or a hidden file. There are two hidden directories here, a single dot directory and a double dot directory. The single dot directory, I'll show you what that means here in a bit, but the double dot directory is actually a reference to the previous working directory or the parent directory. So if I use that cd command again and type ... you'll notice that my present working directory is no longer homework, but is actually my home directory. If I list, you'll see there's homework and source. Let's do list -a, and you'll see there's lots of files that start with the dot. You're welcome to explore these files. These are your files, but we're not going to deal with them in most cases. So the double dot directory is the previous directory. The single dot directory is the current working directory. We'll show the usefulness of that here in a second. So let's give some other commands. There is a command that lets you print something to the screen called echo. If I type echo and a string, here is the string I want to print. It prints exactly what I tell it to. Now, echo seems fairly useless. If I tried typing that string, though, without the echo in front of it, it would give me an error. So echo gives me a way to display something to the screen. Now, I show you echo because what echo allows me to do, I'm going to go into the homework directory again. What echo allows me to do is it allows me to take some data, some information that I want to save to a file. Let's go ahead and put some numbers in here, 10, 20, and 30. Now, I've echoed those three numbers and they've come to the screen. But if I want to save those three numbers to a file, I can actually use what is called a redirect. In this case, it is the greater than sign. The greater than sign says I'm going to take this data that's being printed to the screen, but instead of printing it to the screen, I'm going to save it to a file. So let's go ahead and do numbers. I'm going to put an extension on it. And it doesn't look like anything has happened, but if we do ls, there's a file here now. So what does that file contain? Well, there's a very easy way to find out what the file contains. I can go ahead and run a new command, cat. Cat is supposed to stand for concatenate, but it is most commonly used to just simply display the content of a file. So I'll type cat numbers.txt, and there are those numbers that I showed you earlier. Now, there is lots of things that can be done with these commands, both echo and cat. Clearly, echo allows you to save data, but I can also take the output, rather than send it to a file, I can send it to another process by using what is called a pipe. Now, we will talk a great deal about pipes in this class. But in this case, the command before the pipe, the echo command, will send its data to another program. So I can just do cat here. So what it's doing, and it seems fairly useless what it's doing, but it's taking the output of echo and piping it to the cat program, which will output whatever it received to the screen. I can do other programs. There's a nifty little program called WC. It actually does a word count. And if I do this, you can see that this data, that was the three numbers, was sent to WC. WC said, there's one line of data. In that one line of data, there are three space-separated values. And then throughout the entire file, there are 9 characters. And we can count those. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and a carriage return makes 9. So the redirect sends data to and from files. We can actually do cat and take the data from numbers, send the data from numbers into the cat program, and it will do the work that we asked it to do. It's different from the way we did it earlier. The cat with just the file name allows the cat program to dump that file, but the cat with a redirect from the file just simply takes the data that was coming into cat and display it. All right, so the final command I want to cover today is how we get rid of files. I've shown you how to create and remove directories, and now I've shown you how to create files. To remove a file, use the rm. rm command deletes a file. This is an unrecoverable operation. Just consider it unrecoverable. Some may tell you that you can get your undelete files, get them back, but it is a lot of hassle. So consider this an unrecoverable operation, and you'll treat it with the respect it deserves. You can also use the rm command to remove directories. If I want to, if I'm going to go back to the previous directory, I can use rm-r, which stands for recursive, and tell it I want to delete homework. And you'll see that it's gone. Seems to do the same thing as rmdir. The difference here is if I have a homework directory, and inside that homework directory I have a file, let's make that echo, numbers.txt, and I try to remove this directory, it'll actually complain because homework is not empty at this point. Well, if I choose rm-r homework, it will actually go through and delete not only the directory, but all the files in the directory as well. So you can see the power and, frankly, the danger of the rm-r command. Those are some of the basic commands that you can use through Bash. I will have a list of them in the homework notes.